Hey, what's up, everyone? BDF44 coming at you with another video. All right, so got a little bit of a headache, but I feel like talking, so I'm gonna talk. This is a Laker rant. I just got through reading the Jeanie Buss article on SI. Oh no, excuse me, that was LA Times. Pulaski wrote the article, and I thought it was really insightful. I felt that Jeanie was candid, as she always is, warm through through her words you're reading. You could sense the sincerity and the optimism that she has for the people that she's trusting to help her with this team. And I still get the feeling that she's on the right track in terms of her intentions. Um, I just don't know that everything that needs to be considered is being considered in terms of um, you know what the uphill battle actually is for her team in order to get back to where she wants it to be and be able to stay there without having to take such drastic risks from season to season. um, that needs to be firmly understood, in my opinion, on her part. There can be no misunderstanding about what is ahead, what it is that the issues are in terms of our cap, what mistakes were made that put us in the positions that we're in, how we made those mistakes, and that we can never make them again. And that, the assets that we have are significantly less than what everyone else has to work with at this point. And those assets are not necessarily easily recoupable at this time. Um, this she needs to be able to really, really, really be able to work within that space comfortably. You know, so I would want people around her that can explain it to her and then guide her through what it takes to get this team back on track and give her a realistic timeline for what it looks like, so that she can, you know, have realistic expectations or plan around that. Um, so she's saying words like she wants to make LeBron happy and she gives him input, or takes input from him, excuse me. And I think that that's smart. I agree with her on that. Um, but I also understand that he is one of those assets. Unfortunately, you can't both have him and get what you need for him at the same time. And as I said, the assets that we need are not easily recoupable, meaning that we can't get them without doing something like this, um, like trading him. Yeah, we could trade Anthony Davis and get quite a few assets, you know, but then we'll just be left with LeBron James, and he'll be looking for us to recoup some sort of talent like Anthony Davis if we're to let him go in order for him to win. It makes all the sense in the world. Um, so, I just feel like making him happy is not something that we can deliver on. Not realistically. Optimistically, we can do a lot of things, and if you give him what he asked for, he may be happy with it. But I think what he found out this year is that what he was asking for this past season didn't make him happy. And I think he'll also find what he'll ask for next season we may not be able to bring him. And so that's where I'm at. It's like, is everybody being realistic about what they can deliver on? Is everybody being clear on what it is that we can do? Like, as a fan, I don't even expect us to make the playoffs next season, regardless of what we build, because I know how far behind the eight ball we are from other teams who are already either building now, or have their assets getting started from the point that we are at. They just have more, because we've given things away, as said. So another thing that was mentioned in that article that I thought was pretty interesting was her declaration on what Linda Rambus's role is, which is something that I've been waiting to hear from her, or from Miss Rambus, which is she helps players with off the court settling. Like, if you need to get an apartment when you first get to this team, or you're trying to find a way to get your family settled, maybe you need to find a nanny or something like that, she helps you with the off the court stuff. That is what Linda Rambus's official role is, according to this article quoted by Jeanie Buss, the owner of the Lakers. She is saying that directly to Mr. Pulaski. So that's directly from her, and we're gonna roll with that. Um, and then that's just what we can do from now. I know there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna question what she says. They're gonna wonder if she's telling the truth or not. This is not what I'm here to do on this channel. I'm here to take the information given, suggest what it is that I feel will work, express my frustrations when I feel the need, and suggest what I do as I feel. But as far as like telling her what friends she should keep around her or how she should run her business in that way, I don't feel comfortable expressing my opinions on that because I don't know if I have the right stuff swirling in my head in regards to that based on the lack of clarity that I have for what's going on and the presence of the media and their narratives that they have been planning on us for the longest. Jeanie Buss was expressing in the article that she doesn't understand why people don't have they're not cool with Miss Rambis being around, since Miss Rambis has been around pretty much the entire time the Lakers have been under her control, which is something we as Laker fans definitely have known. I think the thing that I guess Laker Nation would express to Jeanie in regards to that is we've been doing things the wrong way for a time now. That's what it is. It's like, yes, we are aware she's there. We are aware she's been there. We're also aware that we've only been very good in 2020. And outside of that, these last 10 years, we've been very bad. And we could see the correlation of that time as well with her tenure here. And because we didn't have the clarity that I just received, we didn't know how to look at that with the presence of those narratives that have also been mentioned. So it's important that she understand that, in the presence of trying to keep this team the number one talking point for the media, she also has to understand that this is the other side of it, that the fans don't really know what to think of her decision making, the people around her, and whether or not they should be trusted with the team. So that's just it's a clarity thing. I think everybody's intention is to make the Lakers better, but I don't know that everybody's on the same page about how to get that done, and I don't think everybody's being I think so. There may be a few people who are not ready to acknowledge the situation, for what it is. I think there's some people who are still hoping that they can overachieve to such a degree that just overrides a lot of these issues that the Lakers have with our assets. Is there a world where we can overachieve? Certainly. But I don't think that's the one we're in. that's just the way I see it. I don't think we're in that world. I think the world we're in is more than likely to be a world where we're the worst team in the league next year, or down there with Sacramento, or one of those teams. I think at the end of the day, if you're not looking to get better through the draft or through youthful acquisitions, then you're probably setting yourself up for disappointment this upcoming season. And in the seasons going forward after that are unpredictable based on the specifics of our cap circumstances. So I just think that Jeanie should not take any chances. She has two healthy Pantheon great superstar level players who are descending in value by the second, and it's time to cash out. It's simple as that. It's not about dedication. I see LeBron James' dedication. He's showing us he wants to work out. I hear everybody say he wants to be a Laker. That's cool, man. I respect and appreciate that the greatest player, one of the greatest players to ever play this game, wants to be on my team. That is not minor, man. That ain't minor. I am not an idiot. That is the biggest deal. But this is not about that in its simplest way of putting it. It's not that at all. It's about what you can do with him. And what we can do is put him out there with a bunch of players who are not going to be good enough, ask him to do too much, and then hope he makes it through the season healthy. That's what we can do. That's the world we're in. Not everybody wants to acknowledge that, and I'm sure there's a lot of people who are going to start the season with the intention of that not being the case. But once them injuries start hitting, that will be the story. So, I'm not wishing an injury on us. I'm just telling you that's what's going to happen when you don't have enough and you're going against teams who do. It's literally that simple. We can talk about X's and O's. We can talk about acquisitions. We can talk about trades of many kinds. But at the end of the day, the position that Jeanie Buss is, the reality of her teams right now is that there's a more than likely chance that she will not be very good for a couple of years. A couple of years to which she will not receive picks for being bad. And if she's expecting to be able to make her fans happy in that process, she's about to be even more disappointed than she already is. I think the only way she can make these fans happy is to acquire assets that get us out of the situation, reset our cap situation entirely, and ultimately get us a chance to have a future with young talent on this team very soon. Anything less than that is just us slapping together a bunch of superstars, a bunch of players that probably won't be good enough to play with them. Think Philadelphia. And ultimately, or think of not Milwaukee necessarily, because that's not the case, but maybe Brooklyn. That's kind of what we're putting together. From year to year to year to year until 2027, where we get our picks again. Now, mind you, the rest of the league is going to be full of teams that have their own picks, or a bunch of players that are going to be going left and right to teams that are better than us because we're not going to be very good. This is the reality of our situation. In a time where we just tied the Celtics are in a position to possibly win another championship, maybe more, and we are in the most disadvantaged position of anyone in the league, while our owner appears to be speaking as if she's just mildly frustrated about the situation. No, she's the way she speaks is almost as if she doesn't understand how steep the road ahead is. This is about to get a lot worse, Miss Buss. A whole lot worse. And the fact that you have multiple people in your front office who have very strong personalities, conflicting basketball philosophies, different levels of basketball IQ, and in an overall environment where mistakes have been made so that confidence is not found. You have to clean that area in order to fix the issue, and that's what it's always been about when I address you in these cameras, and I address Jeanie in this camera maybe 3 times, I guess, Laker Nation as a whole, but hopeful that she would get it so that she'd understand that, like, it's not necessarily about getting rid of your friends professionally. It's just about making sure you delegate everybody to where they can be their best and that you can get out of them what you need for your team and your business. I think that being the bad guy is always something that she ends up finding herself having to be, both with her brother and now in this situation. It's because she lets things get this bad. You can't let them get this bad. You can't ever let it get to a point where you either have too many voices conflicting, trying to vie for your respect, trying to vie for your attention, trying to vie for your whatever the case. You got to realize what interests everyone has. It's not just to make you comfortable. It's not just to provide you what you need. It's also to compete with each other to be your number one. And that's what she needs to always be aware of. It's the interests of others. And when you have too many different people, you're going to have too many different interests. Now, all of those interests may align with yours, but not with one another, and that makes for a bad environment. So that's the piece of the puzzle that she's missing. She has to cut down on all those voices for that bit of wisdom right there, so that she doesn't have so many people fighting with one another, trying to make her happy, which will ultimately make her unhappy. So that's how it looks from afar, man. I'm just a guy with a headache, honestly. And part of that headache has nothing to do with basketball at all, but some of it does. Just got to watch some very bad playoff basketball. And, I don't want our team to be that bad. I don't want to be how the Golden State Warriors look tonight. If we're going to make the playoffs, we need to be trying to win the championship. Not to say that they're not. That ain't nothing to do with them. But I'm just saying, I don't want to watch bad basketball. That's the point I'm saying. I want us to be good. And it's like, I know where we're headed. And look, this is not to say that she's not going to be able to put together some really shiny rosters over the next several years. They're going to be really shiny. but the benches are gonna suck. I'm telling you, our benches are gonna be horrible unless we get lucky and get some scouting gems. I'm talking some back of the bench Hall of Famers, some second rounds, all stars. That's what we're gonna need to find. If we can't luck up and find those type of pieces, basically in the G League and free agency, man, we're gonna be bad. Like, we're gonna be really bad. LeBron or no LeBron, you know. But if you trade LeBron and Anthony Davis and everything else on this team that isn't young for a bunch of picks, every year when you suck, you may not have your pick to represent your problems, but you got someone's pick to represent their problems. Whatever level it may be, at least it's a pick coming your way. You make a trade with, say, Miami. Yeah, they're a good team right now. They go through the process of having whatever it is you give them. Maybe they start sucking again someday. That's when them picks start coming your way. You flip those picks if you don't like what you see. Maybe you draft it and groom it to be what it is you want it to be. But that's how you build your roster. It ain't going to be, I got $400 million, let me get 3 guys, and then fill it out with the rest of the roster the best way I can. You see how that looks. But I think the reality is, if you hold on to LeBron James, you can't do anything else. You don't allow yourself any opportunity to maneuver in any other way. So I think LeBron's perfectly fine with that, because he'll be more than happy to drag a bad team to wherever it's headed. I think the way that he's set up, I think he just wants to be where he wants to be. I don't think he really cares too much for what happens while he's here. He'll do what he's supposed to do, and if it don't work out, he did what he was supposed to do. He can live with that. That is not something that the Lakers should be thinking about. That's not how we operate. With respect to him, we want to win, man. We're not interested in just being okay, you know? And while I know he's not just interested in being okay either, that's all we about to be. If you remove the denial and your feelings about it, that's all we about to be, bro. That's it. It ain't even about whether or not you can contribute to what it is that I'm saying. I'm saying that right now we're not about to be that. It's just not. So his best bet is to go elsewhere, find himself on a deep team like Boston or Milwaukee or Miami. That's his best bet. Get himself on a squad that is well established, that he can fit into. He can play 60 games a season and playoffs. Honestly, that's where you need to be. Somewhere like that. Not somewhere that needs him to be the center. Stupidest decision we ever made. Had him play. We probably took a year off of his career having played center like that this year. And he agreed to it, which is really disappointing as well. It just bothers me, man. I look at LeBron James, he's one of the smartest players in the league, but he made some very, very questionable decisions this year. The things that he allowed, the things that he asked for, I don't know where his head was this season. I really don't. I really, really don't. And then I look back on some of the other decisions that were made with the Cleveland Cavaliers. I'm like, man, you did some short-sighted stuff for a very short period of time. It's a benefit, if that makes any sense. It's like you only did that just to fit just that moment, and then you were like, I'm cool, I'm going to leave this place and leave them with all those problems. And you did it to us, and it's like, I can't believe that people are really upset at people like myself for saying, yo, we need to move on now. It's like, how much more of this? How much more ruin can we get? All our picks are gone. And he wants us to give away even more picks. I'm like, bro, so we can do what exactly? Not make the playoffs again? Jeanie, this has to stop. This has to stop. We like Bron. There's a lot of people who love him here. That's cool, man. I am not against LeBron James being successful in this league for us or anyone else. I'm not. If he's winning, it's cool. It's a good thing for the league. But I don't think that's for us to try to build around him no more. I just don't. I really don't. I respect how good of a player he is. He's one of the best. He's going to still be one of the best next year. But it's about championships, man. That's all we are about. That is all we ask for. If it's not going to be championships, we need to be building for sustainability. And the only way we're going to do that is to get them assets that he can get us. That's it. So I know Jeannie's not going to do that. So what I would suggest for her to do is just give a whole lot of consideration to the multiple voices that are ultimately going to be vying for her attention. That's the key. Get tired of that, and we'll start seeing the changes that we're hopeful to see. But as long as she's still a collaborator, as she puts it, we're going to be collaborating on a whole lot of bad seasons, straight up and down. BDL 44, I thank you all for watching.